Hey everybody, this is TJR.
This is Superfan.
And our little guy here decided that since we are going to be going to Japan later this year, and since while we are in Japan, we are going to be visiting the Ghibli Museum.
If we can get tickets,
which we're working on, well, we're hoping, we're keeping our fingers crossed. And but
it's
that
not an easy thing, though.
Well, all we can do is try. But our little guy here has said that since we're planning on going, that before we do, we need to try to see as many of the Miyazaki films as we possibly can, preferably all of them, before we go.
Yeah.
But
He's seen some of them, but not all of them, and I think that's the case for us as well.
Yeah. We've seen maybe a couple here and there. I may have seen more than I realize, but
I think,
But we have decided we will try to watch as many of them, if not all of them, as we can before then, and try to watch them in chronological order. So, since we're going to do this, we thought we should talk about these films once we're done, which we just finished watching. And hopefully I can say this right. All of a sudden, I don't feel like I can even remember how to say it. This happens when I go on camera. Nausicaä, thank you. Nausicaä of the Valley of the Wind. And this is actually Miyazaki's second film. The first film is part of the Lupin series of animated TV show. There's been some movies. And it feels like, since it's a franchise, it was probably more of just a work-for-hire thing, obviously. And this film, once we read the description, before we even saw it, we felt like this is really more the director pursuing their own vision.
Yeah.
You know,
this is considered the first Studio Ghibli film.
Okay. And yeah, it's not Studio Ghibli, but I can see why they would. And, rightly so, as you've said. So I had never seen this film before. You had never seen it before.
No.
It's from
Bob hadn't seen that one either.
No, he hadn't. It's from 1984. And in the 2000s, somewhere in the 2000s.
Early 2000s.
Yeah. Disney began a project, and still does this to this day, where they are trying to assist in getting Studio Ghibli films here to American audiences, high quality translations, getting some of the best actors to do the voiceovers. You can, of course, watch these with subtitles as well. If you'd rather hear the original Japanese audio, you can do that. But trying to just assist in getting these films to American audiences, which is commendable. I know there's a whole subculture of the internet that just, their whole mantra is Disney ruins everything. But here they've been, over the decades, they've been working hard to slowly bring these films to American audiences, and we've all benefited from them. And you and I have seen a few of these over the past couple decades, but this is one we've never seen before. So basically, we have a story here that is taking place, I guess, thousands of years in the future after there's been a huge apocalypse. Apocalyptic. Yes, there you go.
I cannot say that word.
Yes. And while we've got different factions warring with each other, we have this one group of people in the Valley of the Wind who have, I forget if that's what they're called, or that's just the village they live in. But at any rate, though, they've learned how to live with nature. They've learned how to live with these giant insect creatures. They've learned how to work with nature to be able to live with the atmospheric poisons that are in some areas and not in others. Yes, what were you going to say?
No, Nausicaä has tried to work with
their leader, Princess Nausicaä. Yes, has learned how, but her people follow her and do not, and they do too because they follow her. They don't resist her. Unlike, say, some of the other cultures they meet, which will not even listen to her.
They're still in danger. The
They're
forest is considered poisonous. The air is not good. But she's working to try and correct that, and she's kind of the only one.
They're in danger, but the way they've learned how to live it, it's established at the beginning that if they weren't where they were, they die like very quickly. Yes. But here they've been living for generations. Yes, it's in somewhat
safety and somewhat in peace.
Yeah, mostly in safety. Yeah, but it's you're right. It's not a black and white thing, but for the most part, they have managed to live in this valley for generations and have normal lives.
Yeah, they're pacifists more than they have fighters though too.
No, they have fighters, and she's a fighter too. But she, of course, she believes in trying to always solve things without violence.
Yes.
To only use violence when it's absolutely necessary, but to always try to solve things without violence. And she has learned to respect the insect creatures that the rest of the other societies,
her people and the other societies are afraid of.
Yeah, that they're afraid of. And she's learned how to communicate with them and how to understand them and respect them. But her people follow her and they respect her. So, in that regard, they have learned how to do this because they follow her. They don't say, "No, princess, you're wrong," and they don't have warring factions within their own society that they say the princess isn't right. That's never illustrated. So,
no, there's a few times. Oh my God, don't do that, princess! Don't go.
Oh, they're worried about her. That's just them showing concern for her.
But they don't understand.
And that's the other thing. They love the princess.
They do love the princess, and they have faith in her.
They have faith in her. Unlike when you see the other. You've got two other races that are involved in this story. And the Tolmekians, I think the other ones are called the Pijites. I don't know if I say it right. Where they've got a princess, but when they see they're outnumbered, they run. But anyways, though, as I watched this film, I kind of had a feeling that he was taking inspiration from the French comic book artist Mobius. It had that look to it. And I kind of thought he was taking inspiration from that. Now, maybe that's true, maybe it isn't, but that's just my feeling. And like I said, we're responding right after having watched it. We didn't go read books on it and do a lot of research on it. We're just talking about it right off the cuff after we watch it. But it had that look to it that it just was inspired by that art style. Again, I could be wrong. It's hard to say. Miyazaki being an artist, Miyazaki having been influenced as much by his own culture of anime and manga, was also inspired by the works of Walt Disney. He was also inspired, I'm sure, by cartoonists of other countries, and that would include someone as famous as Mobius. Like I said, that's just conjecture on my part. I'm sure there are people who probably know these films a lot better than us, who've watched them many times, have read up on them, learned a lot about the behind the scenes, who could probably say more about it than in regards to that. Again, we're just giving our impressions of it. But regardless, this was a beautiful looking film. I mean, and to think it's only his second film. And this is also, again, a film where, say, he's not tied by the restraints of a franchise, like I'm sure he was with his first movie, which I can't think of the title right now. I remember we both took a stab at trying to read it correctly, that first movie. But it's based on a franchise, so he's going to have certain restraints, whereas here, it feels like this is more him expressing his own personal vision, and it's incredibly beautiful to look at. I mean, you and I have seen a few later films by Miyazaki. I know we both went to a theater like a decade or so ago and saw, I think it was Princess Mononoke.
Yeah.
Princess Mononoke. And, at that point now, he's really like astounding. But even this film, his second film, and the first Studio Ghibli film, his visual style is amazing.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, and the action scenes are well done. I would say it definitely wastes no time. Everything is building to something. Everything is developing characters. Everything is developing motivations that the characters will do later. Every little thing in the film adds up to something greater within the film. Early on, our main character rescues another princess from another country or whatever, and that action will affect a lot of what happens later. It doesn't seem like that's significant at the time, because at first we don't even know who she is. But then it adds up to something later, and every little thing is essential. Not a single frame, and it's 2 hours long, but not a single frame of animation, not a single frame of film is wasted on anything non-essential. I've seen plenty of films where it seems like they just went off on something to maybe sell a toy, or they went off on something to have a funny gag you could put in a trailer, which at the end of the day didn't really amount to anything. But everything everybody says and does leads up to what's going to happen. It's a lot of story crammed into 2 hours.
It is a very lot of story. This is an epic tale.
Crushed into 2 hours, basically.
Crushed into 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it probably could have been a 4-hour movie.
It easily could have been a 4-hour movie. Yeah. And you could have given us more background on a lot of the characters, about the history of the Tolmekians, and I already forgot the name of the other groups. The
PJs.
The PJs. I keep wanting to say the PJs.
Yeah, we'll call them PJs.
The PJs. Maybe we'll call them the PJs just for this. But yeah, the PJs. I would have got. I would have loved to have gotten more information about who they were, their backstories,
the history,
because you can tell it's there.
There's a deep history.
Yeah, you can tell it's there, that there's that deep history.
That's the thing about the Japanese culture.
Yeah,
is the way they approach animation.
Mm-hmm.
They assume you know and pick up the story from where they want it to be told.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if this film is based on, say, like a lot of anime films are based on popular mangas that sometimes have sprawling, epic storylines, that they spend, maybe years sometimes telling. So I don't know if this is based on a popular manga, and if so, it may very well assume that its audience has read these mangas. Sometimes they call them mangas, sometimes they call them mangas. Please, just settle down. You say potato, I say potato. But I feel like if it is, then it's very likely that they assume that the Japanese audience has read what this is based on. They don't have to explain everything to them.
And in case you're wondering if that's thunder rolling by,
it's thunder.
One of our neighbors is moving stuff around.
I don't know if you can hear this or not, but if you do hear it, that's what that is, all that noise in the background.
It sounds kind of thundery.
Yeah.
But
anyways, though. But yeah, I don't know if that's the case, and that would be maybe we can check on that.
It is not.
Okay, wow, okay. It's an original story.
It's an original story.
Wow.
Inspired by a range of works. They mention Ursula K. Le Guin's Earthsea.
Oh.
Brian Aldiss's Hot House. Isaac Asimov's Nightfall. Lord of the Rings, which I saw that. The Odyssey.
The Odyssey, okay.
And Dune, which is pretty obvious.
Yeah, there is a lot of comparisons to Dune now that you bring it up. They both got big insect creatures. No, not just that. But yeah, I see what you're saying. And by the way, when Superfan says Lord of the Rings, I've seen that. I see that. She doesn't mean, of course, we've all seen the movies. We've read the books too. But what she's saying is that she sees the influence. And I just wanted to curtail the trolls that would make smart remarks about it.
And it also,
smart mouth remarks about that.
It mentions here, and I'm reading the wiki.
Yeah, go ahead.
It does mention here that it was also sparked by his imagination. Miyazaki's imagination was sparked by the mercury poisoning of Minamata Bay, mm-hmm. where nature responded and thrived in a poisoned environment.
And yeah, there is, of course, we haven't even said this yet, an incredibly strong environmental message in this film. That's very obvious. And of course, I've known that that's a huge part of a lot. That theme is in a lot of Miyazaki films.
Yeah, and the
Learning how to live with
pacifism-
nature.
Yeah, and the pacifism too.
Yeah.
He's a pacifist, and his main characters are generally pacifists.
I was going to say, I sometimes get the feeling, I don't know, that I don't claim to be the expert on this, but that Japanese culture probably does a better job of living with nature than, say, the rest of us. I could be wrong about that, but that's just my kind of my general feeling. But anyways, though, well-made film, saying a lot in not a lot of time, giving us a lot of characterizations, a lot of action, without a whole lot of time, but impressive for what is essentially a first. I mean, it's a second feature, but it's actually it's almost like it's his first. It's his first real statement as a filmmaker.
Yeah, I consider it the first. This is pre-Ghibli formally being
called Ghibli, but
before the company was formed, but
yeah,
it is the base
yeah
upon which it was built, kind of
Everything-
like Snow White.
yeah, it's the but it's
well, Mickey Mouse is the base that Disney was built on.
yeah. No, but I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're trying to say.
And just the voice cast that they got: Uma Thurman, Patrick Stewart, Edward Olmos,
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf, Alison Lohman was Nausicaä,
Yeah.
and Mark Hamill was in there.
Yes, he was not as one of the main characters, but he is in there, among others.
So they do a great job with the voice casting
Yeah.
on these as well.
Yeah. Anyhow, though, so those are kind of our first impressions on Nausicaä Valley of the Wind. We're gonna watch the other films and try to watch as many as we can in chronological order. Hopefully, all of them. We're gonna comment on each one, so be sure to hit like, hit subscribe, so that you don't miss those videos. And let us know your thoughts, good or bad. You know, do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Go ahead. Let's have a spirited discussion, so to speak. And anyways, though, thank you, patron supporters. Patron supporters do receive exclusive weekly videos not available on this channel. And
You are fierce and mighty.
yes, and thank you though just for stopping by and listening and watching. And now we want to hear what you have to say. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.